What's going on, guys? Back here with my second motovlog, and today I'm in the Alberta beach area, and it's actually so beautiful here. Looks like someone's having a nice party or a wedding or something. Something I kind of want to talk about in this video today is some of the reasons that I bought this bike, some of the things that I like and don't like about it, and I'll try and be as unbiased as possible. One of the things I'll say right off the bat is that the handling on this is absolutely amazing. It is very forgiving, whether you're on the trails or on a road like this. Like, you'll go through potholes, speed bumps, and any uneven terrain at all, and it just absorbs all of the shock. Like, I'm riding on straight gravel right now, and the amount of control I have is actually pretty good. I feel fully comfortable just flying down a gravel road on this thing. Another thing is, for the dirt bike classification, it's not like a motocross bike, so you have all those extra little features like the headlight, you got the signal light, you have the speedometer. I can even switch this to a clock and keep track of my mileage, which makes it way easier to know when you need to do an oil change or not, because I found when I was on more of a race bike, it seemed like it was very hard to keep track of when I had to do an oil change. And I like to try and take care of my stuff when it comes to maintenance anyway. And the other thing that I like is that it does have a lot of torque. Like, it's got a lot more power than I would have thought for a 350cc engine. And KTM says they have the fuel mapping or whatever kind of tuned more towards competing with a 450 four-stroke. Honestly, I couldn't tell you, because yeah, we'll just head down this random ass fucking grassy road because, well, it was the easiest route to take, okay? But that is what I absolutely love about this bike. Like, absolutely, this is 100% why I got this bike, is that I can do whatever I want on this thing, and I can go wherever I want at any given moment. If I feel like staying on road, then I'll just stay on road. If I feel like exploring some random ass trail back in the bush like this, I can just go at any second that I feel I want to do it. Now, obviously, I try and respect people's properties as much as I can. Like, I'm not going to go fucking ripping through this guy's farm field right now, and I'll just respectfully turn around. Oh. From my experience, for what I do on a dirt bike, I'm not a motocross rider or anything like that, but for what I use it for trail riding and just riding on road, it seems like they've accounted for pretty much everything. I mean, they've got the kickstand, but then when you're on the trails, you don't want that kickstand to fall down and getting caught and shit. So they've actually got this little rubber mount that clips around the kickstand, so there's no way that thing is going to come down. It's just little things like that that I've noticed on this bike that makes me really appreciate the engineering that went into it. And I'm not like a big KTM fanboy or anything like that. Maybe I am. Like, I haven't ridden enough enduro bikes of other manufacturers to know if maybe that's a very common thing. But one thing I can say for sure is that on this bike, they absolutely put a lot of work into the engineering, the attention to detail, stuff like this, and overall it makes the bike a very good experience, and it kind of makes it feel like it's worth your money, even though this is an expensive ass bike. Like, this was, I think it's, when this was new in 2015, this was a $13,000 bike in US dollars. So it is an expensive bike, but for me the price was justified because, first of all, I didn't want to buy a used one because I didn't really like the styling of them. When I saw this bike in 2015, it had the orange KTM frame, and I just thought that was the look I wanted. And after I saw this bike, I didn't like any KTM after that. So I was like, hey, well, if I want a bike that can go on-road and off-road legally, this is the bike it's going to be. So this is the one I got. And I am honestly so happy with it, and I would never sell this thing. This will be the one bike I can guarantee that I will keep the rest of my life. And that's not because it's a KTM, but that's because it is so versatile and I can use it for anything. and I'll always be able to have fun on this bike no matter what. And there's so many modifications you can do, and if I wanted I could turn it to supermoto and all that, but I really don't want to do that. I just like this bike the way it is. I like being able to take this off-road and do whatever I want with it and know that it's going to be able to handle it at the end of the day, because there's some guys I've seen on YouTube that beat the hell out of these bikes and they seem to hold up well. So I know 100% that whatever I do to this bike, it should be able to take it, because I'm not that crazy. So as much as I like this bike, and all the things that are great about it are amazing, like I really do love it in general, but there are some things about this bike that I don't like right off the bat. When I first bought the bike, there was these giant mirrors, like they looked like big bug antennas or something, and well, they just looked like shit. Like it just totally ruined the off-road look of this bike. So that was literally the first thing I took off, was those mirrors. They just went. I still have them, but I'm never going to use them. So I just got this little mirror off eBay. I think it was like 10 bucks, and so far it's been good enough. I mean, it definitely is not the best for when I'm on actual highway roads and stuff like that, and lots of traffic, because it's hard to keep track of what's going on around me. Should I go straight or should I go left? Or should I turn around? I don't know. Let's just turn around, or no, let's go right. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go right. And then the other nice thing about this mirror, no, I'm not doing a mirror review, but I can do this. Oh fuck, I put that bracket right in the way. Anyway, back to things that I didn't like, or that I don't like about the KTM. The seat isn't that great. It's really good for off-road. I mean, it's got a lot of grip and everything for off-road, but I find when you're riding this thing on-road, my ass hurts like within 20 minutes. Like my ass is already hurting on this bike, and I just started this video not too long ago. Hey Cal, what's going on, buddy? Don't worry, in the other videos or the later videos I'll try and find some more interesting roads. I don't have all the time in the world today because I've been having a good day, just taking it easy, camping with my family. Another thing I don't like is that maintenance wise, these bikes need a lot of oil changes. So in the trails, yeah, it's not too bad. I think it's every 15 hours of regular use you got to do an oil change in this thing. And then it depends on how, if you're using it for racing, obviously every race you got to do an oil change, but I don't race. I need to find some better roads to take you guys on. Something more interesting like that old beaten trail, but I don't have my dirt bike gear on, so I'm not going to go do that. If you're going to actually use this bike for a lot of on-road use, which I have been using it for, unfortunately, you are going to have to do a lot of oil changes. Like, this is not really a type of bike that you would use to commute to work. You guys want to go down here? No? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, we'll go down here then. Alright. Oh my ass. So I would say the other thing I don't like about this bike would be the choke. Most times you're gonna start it in decent weather and it's gonna start up fine just off of the start button, but there is some times where it won't when it's a bit colder out, and then you got to turn on the choke. But that choke, you will not find it right off the bat at first glance. You will not find that, and when you do, you're gonna be like, why the fuck did they put it so far down into this bike? Like, here, actually this is a perfect spot. I'll get off and show you guys. Holy shit. Ugh. Okay, let's calm down a bit here. Is there anybody out here that's gonna look at me like I'm fucking retarded? No. Okay. So, like I was saying earlier, so this is the kickstand, and here's this little rubber tab that they got, and so you put your kickstand up when you're going to go off-road, and this will keep it up pretty good. So I thought that was genius. But yeah, back to that choke. The choke is actually way up here, and I still can't even reach it right now. So basically, when you're on the bike, you're not going to be able to pull that choke out. You're going to have to get off the bike. You're going to have to look around in here. And there, finally got the choke out. And then when you're trying to push it back in, you can kind of shove your fingers in here. Or just like that, I guess. To me, that just seems fucking retarded. clearly they put a lot of work in engineering this bike everywhere else, but the only thing I can think of is that they put a pretty big gas tank on this bike, and that's why it's kind of in the way of covering everything. Yeah, that's probably the reason why. That would be the number one thing I don't like about this bike, but thankfully I don't need to use that all the time. And then another thing I didn't like about it when I first got it is it had this big license plate rack that came down to here with these big ass signal lights on it, but it was huge and it was ugly, and I did not like it at all. So first thing I did was I took off the two big mirrors, and then I took down that big bracket that came down, and I ordered this little thing off eBay that some dude was making. He was basically taking the off-road fenders off the fully off-road version bike and just took signal lights and a tail light and stuff. So that looks pretty good. I really like that. There are hand guards that are normally on it, and you can see here that there is some left. I did actually get in an accident on this motorcycle. I'll talk about that in later videos. It was pretty embarrassing. Kind of fucked up that. Broke the signal light and ripped off the fender. Had to buy a whole new clutch assembly, like clutch lever, fluid, whatever. It uses clutch fluid, it doesn't use a clutch cable. Oh, and the other thing that I like is it's still, even though you got the electric start and everything, it still has that good old kickstart for when you're feeling like you want to be a real man. See, I like to do that every now and then, you know. Wow, I wasn't even joking there. Like, I literally couldn't fucking do that. And when you're trying to start your bike, it usually helps to have the key switch in the on position. And another thing, when you're trying to start your bike, not only should you have the key switch in the on position, but you should also have the start button in the on position. Alright, let's try this again. There we go. So if you want to try to be a man or a woman, start your bike like that. That's the way it's done. But if you're like me and you're just lazy, then just turn on that key, flip this switch, and hold the start. And that'll just make your life a whole lot easier. That's why they put it there, you know. Anyway, another big thing about this bike is that, so when you really start overheating this bike in the trails and you're not getting a whole lot of air movement through the radiators, there's an electric fan that'll turn on once the temperature gets to a point where it needs to be cooled down. It'll just keep running using the battery power, or if it's running, it'll just keep, you know what I mean. And another thing is, all the decals on this, they're built right into the plastics. They're not just stickers. Let's just turn that off quick. So far I've dropped this bike a few times, as you can see from all these scratches. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's actually held up pretty good. Oh, and there's the fan. You can hear it now going. The seat is uncomfortable on road. I don't like the choke. It's so hard to reach, especially when you got gloves on. Unless you're really good, you're not going to be able to reach that. I didn't like all the stuff that came from factory, like the mirrors and the big tailpiece on it. There's a lot of emission stuff because these have to pass California emissions. So I still have all the stock stuff on here, and from what I've heard, it takes away a lot of the power, but so far this has been enough power for me. So I think those are all the things I don't like about the bike, which isn't a whole lot, honestly. I like this bike way more than I don't, and that's why I bought it. Alright, let's not eat shit with no gear on, please. Alright. I know this isn't like a very good technical pros and cons video of this bike. It's just, these are personal opinions that I have about this bike and things that I like about it and things that I don't. Hopefully, if you're looking to buy a bike like this, or even just interested in what's going on with this type of bike, hopefully it's of some help to you in one way or another. Fuck, that would take a lot of work putting up this fence. Like, holy shit, man, this guy put up like an actual fence around his farmland. That would take a long time. And I wouldn't even want to paint it after that, and that's exactly what this guy did. He's like, fuck that, man, I'm sick of this fence. For those of you that have subscribed to my channel so far, I just want to say thank you. I now have 12 whole subscribers. I know you don't care, because that's nothing, but to me, 12 subscribers, it's a big deal to me, and I actually really do appreciate that. Long time ago, there used to be an eagle's nest way up there, and it was there for like 15 years. And I'll just go because this car is gonna think I'm like retarded. Yeah, it's a little windy, so I'll talk to you guys after the wind has passed.